Tomorrow is a comforting lie. We treat it like a magical chest. We pack it with our unfinished dreams. We throw our heavy burdens into it. We think tomorrow will have more time. But tomorrow never arrives. It only brings today. My name is Aurelius, and this is the story of Kale. This tale is crafted for your personal growth. It is also designed to improve your English listening skills. Listen closely to the words. Let their rhythm sink into your mind. Kale was a young craftsman of great potential. His hands were steady. His mind was full of vivid ideas. He could see beautiful sculptures hidden inside raw timber. He could visualize grand tapestries. Yet, his workshop remained entirely empty. Whenever Kale picked up a tool, a whisper echoed. Later, the whisper said, "You are tired today. You will create a masterpiece tomorrow." Kale always listened to that gentle voice. It felt like a warm, supportive friend. Years flowed like water beneath a bridge. Kale grew older, yet his daily routine never changed. He waited for a perfect wave of inspiration. He waited for an ideal mood. He believed that true talent did not require struggle. This was his first hidden error. He fell in love with the idea of achievement, but he avoided the friction of actual labor. He wanted the applause of the village. He did not want the blisters on his hands. One evening, an old elder stopped by Kale's bench. The old man looked at the bare walls of the workshop. "The word 'later' is an invisible thief, Kale," the elder remarked softly. "It steals your life while you smile." Kale simply smiled and shook his head. "I am merely waiting for the right moment, elder. When the time is perfect, I will build something incredible." The elder sighed deeply. He walked away into the long, fading evening shadows. This brings us to the second moral. The illusion of a perfect future condition is a trap. Conditions are never ideal. True strength is found in action despite discomfort. Waiting for perfection is just fear wearing a clever mask. By the age of 30, Kale saw his friends advance. They built homes. They mastered trades. They made mistakes, but they grew through them. Kale remained exactly where he started. He felt superior, yet he was completely hollow. He comforted his ego by judging the work of others. "I could do better than that," Kale thought. This was his third moral failure. He mistook potential for actual reality. Potential means absolutely nothing without consistent execution. One winter morning, Kale decided he would finally begin. He picked up a block of pine, but his fingers felt stiff. His tools felt clumsy. The initial attempt looked awkward and ugly. He immediately put the tools down in frustration. He lacked emotional resilience. This is our fourth moral lesson. When you delay a task, you expect perfection on your very first try. You forget that failure is the necessary price of mastery. You must endure being bad to become good. Kale walked back to his quiet hearth. He chose the comfort of a warm blanket over the cold friction of practice. "I will try again when the weather warms up," he reasoned. The thief called "later" smiled warmly beside him. The seasons changed with a cruel, silent speed. Kale reached his 40th year. His peers were now master craftsmen, teachers, and leaders. Their names were spoken with deep respect throughout the land. Kale's name was completely unknown outside his neighborhood. He began to realize the compounding interest of delay. Every time you say "later," you do not just delay a task. You actively train your mind to accept defeat. You build a heavy habit of surrender, brick by brick. A deep, quiet panic began to grow inside his chest. The vast ocean of time he thought he owned was shrinking into a shallow puddle. His youthful energy was slowly fading away. His sharp eyes now grew weary under the dim candlelight. He tried to force himself to work for long, exhausting hours. He attempted to build a massive project in a single weekend, but his mind was overwhelmed by the sudden pressure. His body, unaccustomed to labor, quickly broke down from exhaustion. This highlights the immense power of micro-habits. Kale had tried to leap across a mountain instead of climbing it step by step. Great lives are not built by sudden, massive leaps. They are constructed by tiny, daily actions. By his 50th year, the whisper of "later" changed its tone. It no longer sounded like a comforting friend. It grew cold and mocking. "Why start now?" the whisper sneered. "Your best days are long gone. It is too late." This is the ultimate trap of the thief. First, it tells you that you have plenty of time. Then, it convinces you that you have run out of it entirely. In both cases, the result remains identical: total inaction. Cale felt a profound weight of bitterness settle over his heart. He blamed the village council. He blamed his lack of early resources. He blamed the weather. He looked for any external excuse to justify his empty hands. But deep down, in the quiet hours of midnight, he knew the harsh truth. No one had stopped him. No one had locked his workshop doors. He had surrendered his own life voluntarily to an illusion. He watched the next generation of youth walk past his window. They held the same sharp tools he once held. They possessed the same burning passions he once felt. He wanted to scream out a warning to them. One chilly morning, Cale decided to walk toward the village square. He saw a beautiful, towering stone fountain standing in the center. It was carved with intricate, majestic figures of birds and roaring waves. It was a true masterpiece. He approached the structure and gently touched the smooth stone. He noticed a small, familiar signature carved into the base. It belonged to the village elder's grandson, a young man who had started with nothing but a dull chisel. Cale's heart sank into a deep, painful ache. The youth had not waited for a perfect moment. He had simply embraced the daily, exhausting grind. He had built a legacy while Cale had only built a mountain of hollow excuses. The heavy fog of illusion finally lifted from Cale's mind. He saw his past with a terrifying clarity. This realization brought him to a vital crossroads. He could spend his final days drowning in bitter regret, or he could act. He chose to act. He realized that the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is always right now. Regret is a heavy anchor, but action is a powerful sail that can change your direction. Cale walked back into his silent workshop with a new purpose. He did not look at his old age as a barrier. He grabbed a broom and swept away the thick layers of dust. He cleared the broken promises from his workspace. He took out a small piece of scrap wood. His wrinkled hands trembled slightly as he picked up a rusty carving knife. He did not try to build a majestic monument. He simply aimed to make one single, honest stroke. The wood split awkwardly at first. It did not look beautiful, but Cale did not stop. He smiled at his own clumsy failure. He accepted the limitation of his current skill. He focused entirely on the immediate present moment. 5 more years passed in quiet, disciplined labor. Cale did not become rich. He did not achieve legendary fame across the land. But his small workshop was no longer empty. It was filled with dozens of beautiful, small wooden figures. He gave these small carvings away to the village children. He taught them the names of the trees. He shared his quiet joy with anyone who passed by. He had finally defeated the silent thief that had ruined his youth. Young men and women began to gather around his bench in the afternoons. They did not come to see a grand master. They came to hear the wisdom of a man who had survived the most dangerous psychological trap of existence. "Do not wait for a perfect sky to fly," Cale would tell them with a warm smile. "The sky is never perfect. The wind will always shift. Start with broken wings. Start in the dark. Just begin your journey today." Time is a neutral river. It does not care about your grand intentions. It does not wait for your fear to fade. It simply flows forward, taking your potential along with it into the permanent past. Cale passed away peacefully on a quiet autumn evening. He did not leave behind a massive empire or a giant monument, but he died with clean hands, an active mind, and an inner peace that he had finally conquered. On his workbench, the young apprentices found a small wooden sign. He had carved a single, powerful word onto it. The word was now. It became a guiding light for every aspiring craftsman in the valley. Remember this story whenever you feel the urge to delay your goals. Later is a debt you can never repay. Break the heavy chain of procrastination today. Your future self is begging you to start right now. Thank you for listening to this narrative. I hope these words have sparked a light within your heart and helped you practice your English listening skills today. If you found value in Kale's journey, please subscribe to the channel, click the like button, and share this video with someone who needs to hear it. To show me that you stayed until the very end, and to tell the YouTube algorithm that you are ready to take control of your destiny, type this custom 3-word phrase in the comments below. I start now.